If I was 25 years old today in 2024, what would I do? What's a good sector to get involved in? What business would I get involved in?
If I was a 16-year-old kid and I needed to start a side hustle to make some money,
I think everything is looking at now in a different way.
as businesses, particularly small to medium-sized businesses, don't understand yet.
The majority of businesses in America, for example, are between 5 and 500 employees. So they're small businesses. They create 62% of the jobs. They want to use.
And doesn't matter if I'm 16, I'd be teaching them as well.
Sound complicated? Yes, it is. But is it lucrative? Very much so.
It's not about how hard you row, it's about what boat you're in.
Demand's insatiable, and they'll pay you.
2 years ago, I spotted exactly what these billionaires are just now telling everyone to jump into. And back then, people thought I was insane. And fast forward to today, I've built a multi-million-dollar business with over 40 people based out of our Auckland office here in New Zealand. All because I saw this coming before anyone else did. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you why this opportunity is so glaringly obvious that these billionaires are literally begging people to start these kinds of businesses. And more importantly, I'll be breaking down how almost anyone can start one of them. So what is this no-brainer opportunity that Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary and Mark Cuban both say is the first business they would start if they were starting again as an entrepreneur today? Let's see if you can figure it out.
If I was 25 years old today in 2024, what would I do? What's a good sector to get involved in? What business would I get involved in? I think everything is looking at AI now in a different way. And I think AI growth is going to be exponential. So anything to do with AI. Now, what could that be? In the simplest form is helping people use the technology. There's going to be a massive amount of people wanting to use it that don't know how to, and they're willing to pay to solve that pain point. So is that consulting? Not really. It's implementation and execution. And so helping a business do that transfer into a world where they're controlling their data and getting information from it. Now, the majority of businesses in America, for example, are between 5 and 500 employees. So they're small businesses. They create 62% of the jobs. They want to use AI. You should help them solve for that, and they'll pay you.
Did you catch that? Let's see what Mark Cuban has to say as well.
The skills you need for a job today, 10 years, 100 years from now are always the same. You need to be curious because everything's changing. You need to be agile because everything's changing. And you got to be able to adapt because everything's always changing. I can pretend that I'm going to be able to predict where AI is going and the exact impact on the job market, but I'd be lying. I have no idea. But I do know that I'm going to pay attention and be agile and be curious and be able to adapt. So if I was a 16-year-old kid and I needed to start a side hustle to make some money, there's a couple things that I would do. One, I would be all in on large language models like ChatGPT and Gemini, Meta, and the like, and learning how to prompt and going to my friends and teaching them how to do prompts for all their papers. And then I would go to businesses because businesses, particularly small to medium-sized businesses, don't understand AI yet. And doesn't matter if I'm 16, I'd be teaching them as well.
Think you got it? Well, hold that thought. And now let me show you something from nearly 2 years ago. AI automation agencies are the next big thing in online business. The AI automation agency model is an online business model focused on helping small to medium-sized businesses to automate their systems and processes with AI technology. What I'm calling an AI automation agency is an online business model where you work with businesses either on a contract or retainer basis to help them apply AI technologies. That video was filmed in May of 2023. And what I discovered back then through my own business, Morningside AI, and what these billionaires are really only just catching on to now, is that there is an enormous gap between these small to medium-sized businesses that desperately need AI to stay competitive and their ability to actually implement it. For these businesses to be fully up to date with AI, there are many layers of services that they are starving for right now. You've got education about what AI is as a technology and what it can and can't do. Secondly, they are starving for consulting on the best kinds of AI systems to implement for their business to get some kind of ROI. And the final step is building AI systems for them in order to reduce their costs and increase their sales. The businesses that provide these kinds of AI services and what these rich guys keep talking about are called AI automation agencies, or AAAs for short, which is a term that my team and I created to really describe a new business model that we discovered in May of 2023. Now, before you click away thinking that I can't do this, I don't know AI, I'm not an expert in AI, I'm not qualified, Give me a second and I will destroy every single excuse and shred of self-doubt that your brain is creating right now about this opportunity. In reality, you are so much closer to tapping into this enormous demand for AI services that these billionaires keep talking about than you think. Starting off with excuse number one, I'm not an AI expert. So this right here, this belief that you need to be some kind of AI expert with a degree or other qualifications is exactly why this opportunity is still so untapped. What most people don't understand about the current AI revolution is that when ChatGPT was launched in the end of 2022, it basically blindsided everyone equally, right? So the AI academics, business leaders, even the tech giants like Google. This new wave of AI is so different from what came before it and so transformative that we are all essentially starting from ground zero. It truly is an even playing field. And while universities and traditional education are still scrambling to update their courses and programs, while businesses are still desperate to understand what's possible with this technology, there's been a small group of people that have been stepping up in order to bridge this gap and start to tap into this surging demand from businesses all over the world for AI services. And the thing is that they're not AI academics. The majority of them aren't even developers. They're regular people who saw this opportunity, like the billionaires and myself, and just took action on it. My point here is that the real experts in AI for businesses aren't being created in classrooms. They are being forged in the real world by helping businesses to understand and adopt this technology in a place where we are judged by our results and not by our qualifications. You don't need to be a technical genius to get into AI. Businesses need three things. They need someone to explain AI to them in simple terms, that's education. They need someone to show them how and where to use it, that's consulting. And finally, they need someone to help them implement it into their business. So you don't have to do all three. You can literally just start wherever suits you best, depending on your background. And I'll explain the process for doing this in the last section of this video. But to get started, you could literally just take what you learned in my videos about AI agents, for example. I did a massive video on that. You could turn that video and the information in it into a presentation and start helping businesses to understand AI agents and the future of work within the next few days. The bar to get into AI isn't necessarily having all of the answers right away. It's really just about being one step ahead of the businesses who don't have the time to figure this stuff out themselves. Excuse number two is I can't code. Now this is the second most common excuse I hear of I can't get into AI, I don't know how to code. And I totally get where this comes from, especially when I talk about AI automation and building AI systems. And that stuff really immediately terrifies people, and for good reason. But let me share something about what I've learned really firsthand at my agency, Morningside AI. Before businesses even think of signing off on a $50,000 AI development project, they first need two things solved. They need someone to help them understand what AI actually is, and they need someone to show them where AI can drive the biggest ROI within their business. And so this is great news for you non-coders and people who don't want to be technical. You can always learn, but some people just really don't want to do that. And I get that and understand it. But it's great news for you because there's huge amounts of money to be made in this education and consulting space in the AI services market. Now, if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Just look at what all of the biggest consultings in the world are doing. You've got McKinsey, which has just combined 1,000 AI experts into their new Quantum Black AI division. Accenture is dropping $3 billion on new staff in order to expand the AI consulting division. And BCG expects AI consulting to make up almost half of what they do by 2026. But while these consulting giants are fighting over these Fortune 500 companies, the businesses that O'Leary mentioned in the clip I played, the ones that make up 62% of US jobs, are being completely ignored. And they are desperate for guides to help them make this transition into the AI age just as much as the big companies. Now, I would be talking out of my ass if I didn't have some good examples of non-coders who had actually transitioned out of their previous career into the AI space. So let me introduce you to three very different people who found their lane in the AI space without having a technical background. Firstly, there is Nick. And so a year ago, he was a successful strategy consultant, but was completely new to AI and had never written a line of code in his life. But like many consultants, he was great at spotting opportunities and explaining complex ideas. He joined my AAA Accelerator program and built up his AI knowledge and started sharing his AI insights on LinkedIn, building his personal brand while learning about the space as a whole. Within a few months, he had his own AI automation agency up and running. Today, he's leading our consulting division at Morningside AI, where we've just completed an 8-week AI audit for a $200 million per year steel company. And so Nick's gone from complete AI beginner to closing huge AI consulting deals in just over a year. Then there's Henrik. And so when he joined my community nearly 2 years ago, he knew nothing about AI or coding, but he was willing to learn. I have to give it to him. He was willing to learn and stick it out. And he started with simple no-code tools for AI automations, and he kept pushing himself just a little bit at a time. And now he's one of the most experienced voice AI developers globally, and he's building voice agents for major businesses. And better yet, he's just hit his goal of $15,000 in a single month, and he's just had a baby. So massive congrats, Henrik. It's been awesome to see your growth, man. And finally, there's Isaiah, and he was one of my earliest community members, and he already had strong relationships in the coaching industry. And so instead of trying to learn all the technical stuff himself, he got smart and he focused on what he was actually really good at doing already, which is understanding the market, understanding who he was trying to sell to, and selling these solutions to them. And so he found a technical partner to handle the building of the solutions that he sells, while he focused on sales. And now he's doing $25,000 months, helping coaches to implement AI appointment setting systems into their business without writing a single line of code himself. So 3 completely different backgrounds, 3 completely different approaches, but one common thread. They all found their perfect entry into the AI services space. See, this is the beauty of this AI services space, is that you can start wherever you're comfortable. Whether it's with education and teaching businesses to understand AI, it's consulting and helping find the best opportunities, or yes, even development if you're coming with a technical background, or you're just really interested and want to learn that side of the business yourself, as I've done, and I really, really enjoy getting my hands dirty and building automations myself, but thankfully I do have a team to do it now at scale. Excuse number 3 is I've never run a business before. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Starting your first business is always going to be hard. I'm not going to do that to you, but there is a way to essentially game the system, and it all comes down to boats. Not fishing boats, not sailing boats, but rather a boat or the business vehicle that you choose to get into. This analogy of boats and business vehicles comes directly from the world's greatest investor, Warren Buffett. And no one can explain the story better than good old Alex Hormozy.
Warren Buffett, Uncle Warren, he and one of his closest friends graduated Columbia Business School at the same time, same year, and he said that guy was smarter and harder working than him. They then went their separate ways. Warren ended up getting into investing, and his friend goes into the steel business. Mind you, this is a guy who was smarter and harder working than him. He said he did okay, he did pretty well, but not close to what Warren did. And he said his biggest lesson from that was it's not about how hard you row, it's about what boat you're in. Warren got more out for what he put in than his buddy in the steel business, because the steel business had a lot of headwinds. And so he had to row harder against the wind than Warren did while riding one of the best growth curves of the US economy overall.
So it's your choice of boat, the industry and the business model that you choose, that is the biggest factor in your success as an entrepreneur. Let's say you were to start a business right now in the newspaper industry. You're going to be facing some pretty damn brutal headwinds, right? It's a declining industry. It's nearly impossible to succeed in that industry, especially if you're coming in as a beginner. But for AI services, not only are you catching what Bain & Company reports is going to be an $8 trillion wave of investment in AI and automation over the next decade, which I mean, we're already starting to see now in the US, you're also catching this wave right at the beginning, where basically all of the money is going to be made. And personally, I learned this lesson about picking the right boat the hard way, as my first online business was in 2019. I started dropshipping, as basically everyone did back then, and I was pretty late to the party, and I really realized quickly that I was fighting over the crumbs left by the other guys. Long story short, it took me 14 months of failure before I made my first dollar of profit. I then went on to thankfully make good money in the e-commerce and digital marketing space. And then in 2023, I decided to switch my efforts into AI and applied the exact same amount of effort, and my career has just exploded since. So basically, picking the right boat at the right time is a multiplier on the time and effort that you put into it. So starting your first business in this rapidly growing space for AI services and the AI industry as a whole, and going with the wind basically allows you to get bigger results faster than normal. Again, I'm not saying this is going to be dead easy or walk in the park, but you will get better results at a faster rate when compared to stagnant and even declining industries. And what's great about the AI services space is that you can start incredibly small. You can help one business to understand AI tools. You can do it for free at first. Then you can start charging for your time when you do this kind of service. Then you can gradually grow into bigger and bigger projects as your confidence builds, then transition into a proper AI automation agency model. And that's basically what I did. I started here on YouTube making videos because I was interested in the space, making like coding tutorials, showing you how I was building these different systems. And then when people started asking for it, I started to offer paid consulting calls and monetized my AI skill set that way first. Then I started my AI automation agency. Then I built an education business. And then I built an entire AI SaaS as well. As you can see, baby steps rapidly lead to really big outcomes in a growing industry like AI. Even if you're new to business. I've had a few years in the game, thankfully, but this is not to say that you can't achieve similar things, at least on a longer time scale. So baby steps can really lead to some pretty big outcomes rapidly if you're in a growing industry like AI, even if you're new to business. Excuse number 4 is that I don't have time. So 1 hour per day, that is it. That is all you need to start building your AI knowledge and your skills. That's really the core of getting this thing off the ground in any kind of AI services. Now, of course, if you do more than an hour a day, you will get where you want to go faster. But if you have time constraints, this is really all you need. I've got a complete free course on my school community that's 100% free. Walks you through everything you need to know about AI business, from theory to building AI automations and agents. So if you've got a job and or a busy home life, then just chipping away at value-packed content like this over a month or 2 or even 3 will really do wonders. And before you know it, you're going to know more than the majority of businesses do when it comes to AI. And you can start to make money by profiting from that knowledge gap between where you are and where the business is. And the beauty of this is that you can do it around your current job and lifestyle until you're ready to take it to the next level and go all in. Excuse number 5 is I'm too late. I've missed the boat already. Now, this is the final excuse I hear from people after I've taken them through all the stuff I've just done with you. They get to this and they point to me and they point to the kind of first generation of these AI service providers and AI automation agency owners we've been really working on this stuff for the past 2 years, and they use that as the evidence that they've missed the boat and we've just kind of soaked up all the market share, and that all their easy gains are going to be gone. And you may see the kind of views that I get on my videos and think that the whole globe is all over this opportunity by now. But in reality, 99, maybe even 99.9% of the people who watch my videos don't actually take action. And of those who do, only a fraction of those people actually commit to the process and the grind and the ups and the downs actually needed to see success and build a long-term sustainable agency. But right now, if you looked at the demand for AI services versus the supply, there would be a staggering shortage on the supply side. According to the NAICS 2024 data, there are 1.7 million companies in the United States alone with annual revenues between 500,000 and 10 million. My AAA Accelerator program has trained 2,000 active agencies, 60% of which are USA based. Active meaning that they are basically consistently closing deals and capable of providing quality services. And when you factor in the older and traditional development agencies that have since seen the AI opportunity and pivoted into these AI services, we're looking at 1,500 or so active AI agencies in the USA. That means that for every active AI automation agency in the US, there are 1,133 small businesses needing help with their AI transition. And that's only for businesses that are doing less than 10 million per year. So to put things in perspective, according to Statista, there are approximately 54,220 digital advertising agencies in the United States in 2023. That means that there are 31 small businesses per digital agency in the United States. So 1,133 to 1 in the AI agency space, and then 31 to 1 in the digital marketing space. So when people say SMMA is saturated, like it really, really is when you look at these kind of numbers. And the digital marketing space only really kicked off in the early 2000s when Google released their search ads platform AdSense. So it has taken basically 25 years for it to reach this level of saturation. I only created the AI automation agency model and started talking about it in May of 2023. So even if the space takes off and everyone starts listening to the Billionaires advice, it's at least another 5 or more years on the conservative side before things become anywhere near as competitive as digital marketing, as this ratio of agencies to businesses starts to come down. If you start now, by the time we get to that point, you'll have been able to build your skills, build your team, and really become the master of your niche, while the newbies struggle to get in at this later point. In the final section of this video, I'll break down the process of starting your own AI services business step by step. So in short, we're still so early to this, and AI will continue to change and advance rapidly, meaning that businesses will become more and more dependent on us to help them navigate this long period of transition when there's new technologies coming out here and there. So what I'm trying to say is there's a long way to go. By this point, it should be pretty clear. The only thing stopping you from transitioning into the AI space is you. Right? The reason we're seeing success stories from such diverse backgrounds is simple, and it goes back to what Warren Buffett said. It's not about how hard you row, it's about the boat you're in. Before I show you exactly how to start one of these businesses and give you all of the resources and help you're going to need along the way, let me prove once and for all why this is by far the best boat on the market right now. And we're going to do so with a little help from the greatest teacher of all, history. To truly understand why the billionaires are begging you to start AI automation agencies, let me take you back to 1995. The internet had just become commercially available, and most people thought it was a fad. Business owners were confused, they were skeptical, and many thought that having a website was going to be pointless. Sound familiar? But just like today with AI, businesses knew something big was coming, but they had no idea how to take advantage of it. And this created an incredible opportunity for smart entrepreneurs to bridge this gap and make ridiculous amounts of money while doing so. Take agency.com, for example. They started pretty simple. They started helping businesses to establish their first web presence, doing basic website design and development and digital consulting to basically explain what was possible with the web for a business. As businesses began to understand the web, they expanded into strategic consulting, e-commerce implementation, digital marketing services, etc. And this company was founded in 1995 in New York City, and by 1999, just 4 years later, they were worth $2 billion and were working with giants like British Airways, Nike, and Sprint. Or look at Razorfish. They started with just $3,000 in startup capital as basically a small digital design and web development shop. But they quickly evolved into something much, much bigger. They helped these traditional businesses to transform for the digital age through things like digital strategy consulting, custom software development, and e-commerce platforms at the time. Razorfish's business grew rapidly from $300,000 in revenue in 1995 to $268 million in revenue by 2000, just 5 years later, with over 2,300 employees across 9 countries. Now, here's what most people miss about these stories. It wasn't just that they were early to the web and that's how they made all this money. It's that they positioned themselves as guides, helping these confused businesses to navigate this new technology. In 1995, it was, what is a website and do I need one? And 2025, it's what is AI and how can it help my business? But here's what makes this opportunity even more incredible. Unlike the 90s, when the internet boom was only really accessible to a tiny group of computer enthusiasts who knew how to code at the time, this time around, we have the world's information at our fingertips via Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT. We have thriving online communities of people who are building cool stuff with AI and collaborating with each other. And there are incredible low-cost tools that allow basically anyone to build AI systems and automations without coding. And I mean, if those aren't enough, generative AI technology itself is based on something that we all know how to do or can easily learn, which is just writing clear instructions. I mean, that's all AI prompting really is. It's built on written language. So my question to you is this: if not now, then when? If you're not satisfied with your current situation, if you believe deep down that you deserve more from life, what other signs are you waiting for? I mean, we have billionaires literally saying, if I was starting over again, this is exactly what I'd be doing. We have mountains of data showing that businesses and governments are about to pour trillions and trillions into the AI transition. We've just got a new presidency in America with a very, very pro-AI administration. So we have another 4-year runway that's going to be all about AI and all sort of positive winds at our back. We have an industry that is so diverse that whether you want to sell mini courses to small businesses and make 20K a month, or build 7-figure AI automation systems for enterprises, there's a place for you and there's a place for everyone. And we have proof. We have thousands of people from all walks of life who've made this jump into the AI space and succeeded. I've got them all in my communities. I've got them here on the channel. Hell, I've even documented my entire journey on this channel from day one, from complete beginner to where we are now, in order to show you how to do it, or at least how it worked for me. And I get passionate about this because AI truly has blessed me beyond my wildest dreams. And that sounds kind of cringe to say, but it seriously allowed me to make more money than I ever imagined possible, to build an incredible company alongside my best friends, to find a way to truly feel like I'm impacting the world. And that's why I feel kind of this burning responsibility to grab you by the shoulders and scream like, this is it, man. This is the opportunity that you've been waiting for. If you've ever been praying, or whatever religion you believe in, asking for something to come and come your way, like, this is it. This is it. I have all of my friends who run successful businesses, they talk to me and they say, man, I'm so, like, I just wish I had this kind of, I wish that was the vehicle or that was the opportunity that I got into. It's just, I can't shift now, but I wish if in another life, I would have done the exact same thing as you. And so if these really successful businessmen who are running different businesses looking in at me and other people who do this stuff like me, and they're like, well, I wish I had that chance, then I'm telling you, if you want to get into business, then just there's something here for you. And this is like why I make these videos, just to make a bit of awareness so that you have some kind of stimulus to take action on it, because I promise you there's something in here for everyone. And I found mine. I see so many other people do it too. I just really want to create awareness around this whole thing. And so if you are ready to take the first step towards the life that you've always dreamed of, let me show you exactly how to get started in this today. Now for the bit you've all been waiting for. I've explained the opportunity at hand. I've explained why these billionaires won't shut up about it. And I've demolished all of your self-doubt and excuses that will stop you and prevent you from taking the dive. I've outlined the crystal clear historical pattern that this model is based on and really tried to cut through this AI hype rubbish that we get to like some historical patterns and precedents that we can base it off and be like, okay, we can expect something similar here. I'm trying to make this not some AI fluffy hype stuff, but really, really data backed for you, because I know there's a lot of people who need to see that. And most importantly, I've just challenged you to take action, because if not now, then when? If you're still here watching this video, then you understand that while this isn't going to be easy, like I said, it's about as easy as it'll ever get. And you're obviously going to be ready to put the work in. So let's get into it. Now, while everyone's journey into AI is of course different, through my own experience of starting my own AI businesses and helping thousands to do the same through my free and paid communities, I've got enough data on what works and what doesn't, and it's basically revealed a sequence of non-negotiable steps in order to be successful in this space. To give you a clear step-by-step approach to executing on these non-negotiable steps, I've created my most comprehensive free guide on starting an AI business to date, which breaks down this process and provides access to all of my best resources, including those from my paid AAA Accelerator program as well. This complete guide is going to be available for free via the first link in the description, but for the rest of this video, I want to give you a detailed breakdown of each of these non-negotiable steps so that you're ready to take action on that document below. So step number one in starting your AI business is finding your unfair advantage. Business is all about finding your unique edge and playing that advantage fully. After watching thousands of people start their AI journey through my communities, I can tell you that without a doubt, this step is what makes or breaks the majority of people's success. It's basically picking the right niche and starting point for their business where they have a natural upper hand. So as part of the complete guide in the description, I'm going to be giving you free access to the exact resource that I use for all of my AAA Accelerator members within my program, which is basically a comprehensive self-audit that uncovers your past experiences, your interests, your connections, your relationships. And from this self-audit, you're able to find a starting point where you have a unique advantage. I've seen people from every background imaginable succeed, from ex-consultants to even miners, but only when they lean into their unique advantages instead of trying to copy someone else's path. Step two is to build your knowledge gap. Your knowledge gap is your money maker in the AI space, or in any space really for that matter. It's pretty simple really. Your clients are going to pay you in proportion to how much more you know about AI and its business applications than they do. So it's a knowledge gap. They are here, you are here. The beautiful thing about 2025 is that the knowledge to acquire your own knowledge gap is everywhere. You can build this gap through free resources like here on my YouTube channel and my free course on my school community, or you can accelerate your learning through paid programs that offer more concentrated and structured information if you have the funds to do so. But in the complete guide below, I've provided you with a list of my best free resources in order to rapidly build your own knowledge gap. Step three is finding your first free clients. So it's crucial to ease into selling AI services. You can't eat an elephant in one bite, I think is how they'd probably say it. But we aren't in a rush here, right? If you start now and take your time, focusing on just building your skills and truly satisfying your clients, you'll find your feet and build a solid base to scale from there. I mean, I see it way too often. And people try to jump into this business model and try to deliver some $10,000 deal, and they just completely butcher it. Maybe oftentimes it's with a good friend or a connection that they have, and they just butcher the project, which is completely normal. I mean, your first project is always going to be the hardest, but this experience gives them a bad taste in their mouth, and they end up giving up on their business model entirely based off this first experience because they bit off more than they could chew. So I always recommend starting with free clients initially, so you can start just really stacking small wins and gradually building momentum, building your confidence. So by far the best way to get your first free clients and start to build this confidence and momentum is by tapping into your warm connections. So that's your friends, your colleagues, your acquaintances, family, etc. People that you have some kind of relationship or connection with. In the complete guide I've linked in the description, I've included the exact process again used by my Accelerator members to systematically reach out to warm connections, and the spreadsheets we use to track follow-ups and replies, and also to sign deals. Step 4 is scaling with content or ads. A key step that many AAA owners stumble at is transitioning from their first few warm connections-based projects to actually consistently generating leads from other sources. And this is where your business either takes off or it hits a plateau. So you need a systematic way to attract new clients, whether through content marketing like YouTube videos like this, or through paid advertising. I mean, both approaches work. It's about choosing one that aligns with your strengths and your resources. At Morningside AI, my AI automation agency, we've never had an issue with leads because this channel here gets over 1 million views per month and brings in many, many times more leads than we can handle. Even if we tried, which is a massive part of our success as an agency. And so in the complete guide in the description below, I will provide the step-by-step blueprints for creating your own lead generation machine using the exact content creation strategy that has worked for me and my most successful students. Step 5 is building a team. So finally, the real key to scale is building an incredible team around you so that you can spend time building the business rather than working on it every day. I could not have achieved a fraction of what I have over the past 2 years without my incredible teams across all of my different businesses. There are a few key hires that you make at certain stages of growth in your AI automation agency journey, from your first virtual assistant to take things off your plate, to project managers and key developer roles as well. In the complete guide below, I've broken down in detail exactly when to make these hires and provided instructions on how to find and how to hire the best people for these roles. This is basically what transforms your business from a high-paying job into a truly scalable enterprise. So that's it. 5 steps between you and building your boat that's perfectly positioned to ride the waves of this coming decade so that basically at the end of the day, you can get more of what you want out of life. As I said, I've been blessed beyond my wildest dreams by what the AI space has given me and entrepreneurship as a whole, not only monetarily, but also the feeling of being at the forefront of the most important industry in the world right now and playing a role in how this technology is adopted, making sure that people like you and I can get in and get a slice of the action and all the money doesn't just go to the big guys, making sure that small businesses have access to the AI services that they need in order to survive against the big guys, and making incredible friends and memories along the way, as corny as that sounds. So whether you just want to get into the AI space for the money, or you want the purpose, the fulfillment, and the excitement that comes along with it, the AI space has something for everyone. There's not enough AI service providers to help us make this transition. The world needs you to step up to the plate, and there'll never be a better time to start than now. I am so excited for you and the journey that you're about to go on. In order to access the complete free guide I've mentioned before and start your AI business and journey today, you can click the first link in the description below. And I look forward to seeing you in my community soon.